The next thing we're going to look at is our integrated combine adjustment. So to get to there, this is going to be what we call ICA 2. We simply touch the box and we're going to see integrated combine adjust comes up. Now, let's say we wanted to go back to our combine settings. We can simply touch the harvest settings and it takes us right back there. Other thing that we can look at when we're inside of ICA 2 is our priority list. We're going to see our automation status and the automation that we can turn on and turn off. So at the top where it says optimization, first thing it's going to give us the ability is to simply optimize performance. So when we touch the optimize performance button, it's going to ask us a series of questions. So we simply answer those questions and it's going to let us optimize that machine based on the answers that we give it. So the first will be, what areas do we want to improve? Well, we want to improve grain loss. We simply push next and it's going to ask us what type of grain loss do we have. We have unthreshed loss. We push next. And what you're going to see is ICA has now recommended a solution. That solution is decrease threshing clearance 6 millimeters. Now, if we want it to apply that recommendation, we simply push apply. And we're going to see at the top, ICA 2 is applying a setting. And since we don't have the threshing system engaged, we're going to see unable to monitor performance. So it's a relatively easy system for us to look at. We just have to have a pretty good idea what it is it's trying to do. The other thing that we're going to look at is going to be our Harvest Smart. So we're going to see an on and off button for Harvest Smart. We're going to see an on off button for active terrain adjustment. All right, so now that we're back here, one of the other things that we're going to see inside of ICA is we cannot turn on auto maintain because optimization is in process. So when we push optimize up here, it made a 6 millimeter change, but now what it's trying to do is it's actually trying to monitor crop loss. So did we actually fix it? So before, one of the things that we looked at is we made an adjustment and we adjusted our loss monitor properly. So now it's actually seeing, did we actually change the amount of loss we have? So the machine is trying to check behind itself to see if the change that it made actually improved performance. So since we're not in the field, we're not going to see a change in performance. So we're simply going to stop that session and hit our X up at the top. Now you're going to see our ability to turn on Harvest Smart here, turn on active terrain adjust, and turn on auto maintain. As soon as you turn on auto maintain, a target based on quantity, grain loss, and quality will be created while harvesting. So one thing that's important about when you turn on auto maintain is, just like setting our loss monitor, you have to make sure that you're in good crop condition and considered to be a stable cropping condition. So at the bottom where it says set performance target, it is important that we set that after we set our loss monitor. What that set performance target is actually going to do is it's going to see what does the machine need to do to perform at the level that it is right now. So once it has achieved that level, it's going to do everything it can to perform at the same level all throughout the day. What's important about auto maintain is as cropping conditions change, say we go from wet grain in the morning to dry grain in the afternoon and back to wet grain in the evening, the combine needs to make adjustments to it to maintain the same grain quality that we had in the morning at noon that we do at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's relatively important for a lot of operators. They're not making a lot of adjustments. So as grain quality changes throughout the day, they're just kind of having to deal with it. Whereas with auto maintain, it's actually going to make a change in the machine according to cropping conditions. So on the automation status over here on the right hand side, it's going to tell us what's going on. So one thing we need to be aware of is that we've got to be in harvest, we've got to have the separator engaged, and we have to have the separator engaged with at high idle for Harvest Smart to be functional. So on any time if we're looking at something and we have an exclamation point pop up to the side, we can simply touch it and it will bring up a diagnostic box and tell us what's going on with it. As far as our priorities go, it is important that you set your harvest priorities, because this is one of the things that helps ICA perform at the highest level. For most of our customers, grain loss, broken grain, form matter, and straw quality is going to be kind of our list of priorities. Now, if you if you're out there and you're trying to get really good straw quality, you're going to do something with the straw after the fact. Maybe you want to move that up ahead of foreign material. Like I said, 90% of the time, we're going to be a grain loss, broken grain, and foreign material as far as priorities go. And that kind of summarizes ICA 2. One thing to remember, on any of the screens that we're on, up at the top, you're going to see an I. You're going to see an I button up at the top. Once you press that I button, it's going to be your information. One thing that's important about our Gen 4 command center is once you push that I button, this is the equivalent of having an operator's manual on any screen that you're on. But instead of starting at the front, it takes you specifically to the section of the screen that you're on. All right, so that kind of gives us a summary of ICA 2. We're going to hit escape there. The last button we're going to look at on a Harvest setup is our outside configuration. One thing that's important about the outside configuration is this information is also presented in our operator's manual. It's presented in our Go Harvest app. So we've got it in several different places, but we also have it right here in the display. So this is going to be our feeder house drum position, feed accelerator, concaves, spacer grates, and our chopper. So it gets us a pretty good idea of what kind of outside adjustments do we need to make before we swap to this particular crop. So that's going to complete our Harvest setup. Once we get there, we'll simply push OK. We can stop there for a minute.